I actually found out I had cancer on the day that it was our very first date when Danny was coming to my house. And I was so nervous and I was like, oh my God, I need to do my hair. I'd like planned everything. And then just a few hours before, I was told that I had cancer. Hi, I'm Lauren, I'm 30 years old, and in 2019, I was diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. Today, I am gonna make a dating profile that I might have created after I was diagnosed with cancer. The first thing I'm gonna do is pick a profile photo. It's hard to decide which one you want to represent yourself as, but I think I'm gonna go with this one here. This is a picture of me in LA in May this year, and this trip meant a lot to me because I'd planned this trip the year I got diagnosed with cancer, so I had to cancel it. So when I went this year, it was amazing to actually be able to go, visit it, see all the sights, and I was just in a very happy place then, so this is gonna be my profile photo. I was diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma back in 2019 when I was 25. I'd experienced symptoms of pins and needles down the right side of my arm, only when I really drank alcohol, so it was quite a unique way of showing symptoms. I personally thought it was a muscle ache because it was kind of like pinching around my neck and it was only my right side. So I ignored it most of summer 2018, all the way through to Christmas 2018. And then it wasn't until my mum was like, you've got to go to the doctor. So I had my bloods done, my white blood cells were triple above average. And then they did some scans on me, they did chest x-rays, and we could not get to the bottom of it. And then it wasn't until March 2019 when they did a CT scan on my chest and realized that I had cancer. I was just speechless, to be honest, because I just didn't think that I would have cancer. You just don't know until you have it. Now I'm gonna fill in my profile. So we've got name, Lauren, age 30. And now it's time for the scary part, which is filling in my bio. This freaks me out, this bit, because how do you summarize yourself in a few sentences to a stranger? It's very nerve-wracking, but I'm gonna give it a go. I love to travel, so that can go in there. I'll say travel lover. I love exploring different countries, so that's got to go in there as like a first and foremost. I love food, so I guess, you know, the person has to love food as well. So we'll put a big foodie. Should we do capitals with foodie? Yeah. Let's make it loud and proud. We love food. And then what else can I put? I've been really watching and loving a show called Yellowstone at the moment. And if no one's heard of that, it is like my heart and soul in a program. I'm very committed to watching this. So Yellowstone, obsessed. You might have noticed that I haven't mentioned my cancer journey in my bio, and that was intentional. Because I've done so much healing since I've had cancer, it's a very vulnerable place. So sometimes if I feel comfortable and confident to talk to someone who I know can receive it well, maybe has experienced it in a different way, maybe through a family member or a friend, I feel comfortable to just be straight up open. But because dating is basically meeting strangers, you just don't know how it's going to be received. If I was just to say, hey, by the way, in my bio, without even having a conversation, I had cancer, it could maybe either put someone off. I don't know if maybe that's just like a no-go for some people because they might think, oh, she might not be ready for a relationship or something. She might be still undergoing chemo. Or even, I don't want to take on that responsibility. Like that's definitely something that when I was going through chemotherapy, I felt like I didn't want to be a burden on somebody. And so I think that's a really important thing for me to disclose that piece of my life to someone when I feel comfortable and when I feel like I can trust them and when I feel like they can take on board that information with open arms and I'll get some level of like support or at least understanding back. But that's just a personal preference of mine because it's a sacred part of your life. I need to protect it. Okay, let's see what's next. So, okay, one thing that defines me, I'd say I have a really big heart. I definitely put my friends and family first. I'm a ride and die friend and I'm a big family person and that will never change. I have a massive deep found love and appreciation now for my family and my friends since having cancer. Before I had cancer, you always have in your head, you know, who's gonna be there at my hardest, lowest times, you know, who's gonna step up, who's gonna support me when I can't support myself. And honestly, after going through chemotherapy and being diagnosed with cancer, seeing all those people that were in my life before step up and literally hold and support me going through that journey and being there from start to finish, it just meant the world to me. My most challenging year, That one for me has to be probably one of the easiest answers to date that I can give. Guaranteed, my most challenging year was the year that I got diagnosed with cancer. That was going to be the year of like young adulthood where I just lived my best year. And never in a million years did I think that that year of being 25 would be defined by having stage 4 cancer and having to go through the diagnosis, which was one of the most torturous parts of it, to going through chemo, to even living life after cancer. Like that whole year was just guaranteed one of the most challenging years of my life. But on the flip side, it was almost what I see as one of my best years for learning the most about myself. I never even thought that I was a person that A, would have cancer, or B, be able to go through chemotherapy and the treatment. And it was just like, I never knew I could do that. I'm creating this dating profile as a sort of dating profile that I would create if I was single. However, I am in a 6-year relationship with a guy called Danny, who I actually met before I was diagnosed with cancer. Danny stuck by me throughout the early diagnosis, to during chemo, and obviously after now, which has been amazing. One of the key challenges of dating with cancer was just knowing if they're gonna be there for you or run away. And for me, that was my main concern. I'm the person going through chemotherapy, and the world is moving very fast. It's very unexpected. It's not like I've got plans and stuff. Anything can kind of go wrong. And so I just needed in a partner someone that was stable, sturdy, I could lean on, I could talk to, I could take my mind off it. And Danny was all of that, just completely effortlessly for me. Come on in.
Hey.
Hi, babe.
Hi.
Hi. My perspective of relationships going through chemotherapy was, I was so vulnerable, to be honest. And we kind of met at that stage where I kind of experienced symptoms of what I didn't know was cancer. And so we kind of navigated our dating life at the very, very start around what I had energy for, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, definitely. And like listening to your needs and then just flowing with it.
I actually found out I had cancer on the day that it was our very first date, when Danny was coming to my house, and I was so nervous and I was like, oh my God, I need to do my hair. I'd like planned everything. And then just a few hours before I was told that I had cancer, I just remember texting Danny like, if you don't want to come to my house anymore, I understand, might change things. And I was just very vocal with you, wasn't I? Of like, you can run if you want, because I don't know what's going to happen to me, sort of thing.
So when I found out about that, I just knew instantly, okay, well, whether this works out or not down the line, at least you're going to have a good friend out of it as well.
Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. Yeah.
Stick by you. So yeah, that was my thoughts on it.
That's so nice. I actually know how he's going to answer, by the way. So this is really nice to hear. That's so sweet. Because I think it's such a big thing, isn't it? Like, when someone's told you that and you're dating, it's a bit daunting, but
yeah, definitely.
Considering there's like an age, what is it, 6 years?
Yeah.
6 years younger than me, I think it's so mature to be like, I'm going to step up in whatever capacity you need. And if the dating goes well, then it will turn into and blossom into something, which it has, or still be a friend. Yeah,
definitely. I knew that it required a little bit more commitment earlier on, but I was also okay with that.
Yeah. When I had really bad days, I would literally call Danny. And do you remember I was like in my hospital bed and I'd like call him, and he's like, oh, you haven't got energy to talk today, but that's okay. And he's like, I'm just gonna play you guitar. And then he started playing guitar for me over the phone, and I'd be in hospital crying and like being like happy at the same time. You're a good egg. He's a good egg.
Advice that I would give other people who have partners that are going through cancer: be all ears, listen to what your partner has to say, because sometimes it's just about offloading certain feelings that they have naturally. They're going on a roller coaster of all these different feelings. So listen to your partner, listen to what they need, and try and help them out in the best way that you can. Maybe that's just giving them some space that day. Maybe that's doing the opposite and taking them on a date and going on a new adventure.
I love you, babe, but now I have to go back and create my dating profile. So,
all right.
Adios. I literally never thought I'd say that in front of my boyfriend. Love you. My perfect date would be So some of the perfect dates that I've had with Danny are genuinely the ones where we either go out and eat, because eating is such like a bonding thing for us. We love food, we love wine, but there's nothing that beats like at home time. So Danny is an amazing cook. I'm not really. And even though it's not officially, I guess, what you'd call a date, it feels like that to me. So he cooks for me nearly every day. I'm a very lucky girl. That quality time of eating, cooking together, chatting, lighting candles, and just watching something on Netflix, like that is truly what I love. Advice I'd give my past self. There's a lot. The thing is, I've grown so much as a person since having chemotherapy that I'd probably say advice I'd give my past self before having cancer is to live your life for you. I was really living for other people and other people's definition of success. So I'd go through work and try and get those promotions, and it wasn't actually really what I wanted to do. I wanted to do drama and singing and acting, and I ended up in a business degree. So I think what I would have said to myself before having cancer is live your life for you, because time is too short and you never know what's around the corner. The second thing that I would probably tell myself when I was going through chemotherapy is at the very start, I was so resistant to the idea of cancelling plans, cancelling holidays. I was adamant that I could actually travel and do my normal life and normal things alongside chemotherapy. And bless my little deluded self, I definitely, for me personally, couldn't. Advice I would give to other people who are going through treatment or have just finished treatment is just be kind and patient with yourself. Be gracious with yourself. Be proud of yourself for what you've been through. If you're thinking about dating, or you have been dating, or you kind of want to explore that area during or after cancer, then start with yourself first. Do you feel ready to be able to take on someone else and hold space for someone else in your life right now? Because with mine, it happened before I started chemo, and it was a very natural, organic thing where we could hold space for each other and there was no expectation, there was just that commitment. Whereas I think if you're going through chemo and after chemo, do you have energy to hold space for someone else? Because if you don't, you just might need to put yourself first for a little bit longer, and that's totally okay, because the time will come and you will meet somebody, but just putting yourself first is like my number one tip. So this is the dating profile that I would have created. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and comment, as it would be great to hear your own experiences with dating and cancer.